Hey, howdy, hey.
Welcome to Wine, Wine, and Once, a Once Upon a Time podcast. I'm Lo.
And I'm Dee, and welcome to a bad time.
Oh boy, and is it a bad time.
It's just an awful, awful time. So yes, this is a Once Upon a Time podcast where we are going through episode by episode, watching it so you don't have to. And, we talk about the good stuff when it exists.
We talk about the bad stuff, and we talk about the bad stuff.
And of which there is a lot. So much, in fact, that we have a little laundry list of things we're keeping track of. We have, of course, a family tree.
Yep. And a fuckfern, colloquially. All the relationships in the show.
Oh, and God, there are so many.
We are keeping track of all of the final magic beans.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them. So right now there's not, but it will become important, I promise. I feel like I'm just like gaslighting everyone here with this, but I promise.
One day it will be important.
Also, we're looking at how many final curses there are. Again, seems to be a lot of them. And last but not least, how many times Emma's superpower fails her. It's a lot, people. We're already at 7 out of 9 for fails.
Yeah, it's not great. Now, before we get started, it is really important to note, we have seen this show
so many times.
Many, many times, and we say everything lovingly, of course, because it is our favorite show. It is.
I adore this show so much.
I would never watch another show as religiously as I watch this show, but we are also speaking and coming at you with the full knowledge of the full series. There are spoilers ahead.
Ooh, spoilers ahoy.
Many, many. So if you are trying to watch along with us, please watch the episode before, but also be aware we will be spoiling. And I mean, the show is like 10 years old now, so
truly,
it is time. I think spoilers are okay.
I agree. So before we dive into whatever the fuck this is, how's it going? How are you? What's new?
Living the dream. Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving, and
I know I got to see you. That was exciting.
That was so fun. I loved that part.
That made me really happy.
That was really fun. I enjoyed our coffee, and just trucking along, getting ready for those holidays. My Christmas shopping is almost done.
Oh my God, I have barely started. And
I got started early.
You keep psyching me up for what you got me. I have no fucking clue what I'm getting you, and it's like making me perspire.
I'm so excited.
Like every day is another day of me going, well, shit, Lo's gotten me something great, and I need to get on top of it.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited for you and Keely to open your presents.
Oh my gosh.
Very excited.
I'll figure out gifts eventually.
One day. You know.
I don't know. We put up our trees on Sunday after driving all the way back.
Woo.
Which was a decision, but I was adamant.
That is a choice.
I wanted my decoration, so fine. We bought our little we have our fake big tree. We got a real tiny one. We have like the fancy ornaments on the fake one and the chaos ornaments on the small one.
Of course.
And as we were plugging in the fake tree, I go like, I'm really proud of this tree. The lights have never failed.
Oh no.
And then the lights weren't working. And
of course.
It turned into, I'm 30 years old. I should be well past this. I will admit I had a full meltdown because I just wanted my Christmas trees. I just wanted my Christmas. Not my proudest moment. We ended up going to CVS and buying new lights to like shove into the tree where it was burned out. We saved the day. We recovered. We ended up watching Belle's Enchanted Christmas.
Oh, good. Yeah, that definitely saves all the days.
While decorating the trees. Like, it all worked out, but Sunday we had a rough minute there. And now the tiny tree, like the built-in water tree stand thing is leaking everywhere.
Oh, good.
So we have it in a brownie pan for now because
it's just a very Charlie Brown sort of Christmas.
Listen. So yeah, it's been a weird couple of days, but hey, I have my decorations up, so
you've got your decorations, so it's better. But are there gnomes is the question.
Okay, Mama Poppins is on a new level this year, and I wish I were on that level because
she's so obsessed with these gnomes.
But I get it because I started noticing we were shopping, I think for the cruise, and I kept saying, Riley, look, more gnomes. Like I kept
They're everywhere
noticing them
this year.
and pointing them out.
They're everywhere this year.
I kind of want one. We don't have a gnome. We do have a little Christmas T-Rex, which Riley doesn't know this, but I've just decided today I was trying to think of a name. His name is going to be Bromley.
Oh, of course. Where is Bromley?
He's on our mantle, actually.
Oh, perfect. Good.
But it says rah, 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 rah. Laugh every time.
It's delightful, is what that
is. It makes me happy, yeah. But I do not have a Christmas gnome, and I feel like Mama Poppins is going to have a better holiday season for having them and a little left out.
I don't think so. I found one in the dollar spot at Target for $1.
That's where I saw them, and Riley, every time I see one, Riley's like, "Do you want one?" And for whatever reason, every time I'm like, no, even though I do want one. But I think it's because I'm a little intimidated by them.
That's fair. They don't have eyes.
They do not. They just have bulbous noses and hair that just covers up. It's just hair and a nose.
Yeah, it's beard, nose, and hats.
And hat, that's it. But I'm endeared to them, but also a little uncertain.
Well, I think we know that she's just a big fan because they don't have eyes, so their eyes can therefore not be beady.
So just to confirm here for everyone who's listened to some of the Mama Poppins saga, she does not believe in birds, but she does believe in gnomes?
I mean, if we're going with believe in as in cheers for, roots it for, wants the best for, yeah, she does believe in gnomes.
Oh, I love her. I love her so. Well, is it time for this fucking thing?
I suppose so.
Well, I know you have the summary this week, but I'll dive into the Disney Plus summary so we give a little taster of what's to come. So we are on season 1, episode 9, and it's called True North. And I'll be honest, all I could think of was the Lost in the Woods songs from Frozen 2, the entire episode.
Totally
That's
fair.
it. That's the entire episode now.
Can vouch for that. She was singing the whole time.
Kind of. So the summary is, Emma tries to save 2 children from the foster system by finding their birth father.
Sure.
The evil queen has Hansel and Gretel steal an artifact from a blind witch.
Oh.
Now, is it really an artifact? Because I'm now thinking of the episode we just watched, and I don't think that's an artifact that she found.
Artifact is a weird choice. Artifact is not the right connotation they're wanting there.
No.
Item.
Wow.
I don't know. I guess magical artifact, perhaps, is what they're going for.
You could just say, I mean, poisonous apple? I don't know.
I don't know.
Just say what it is.
But that's not intriguing.
It's not. I don't know anymore. So that's what Disney Plus has to say. Lo, do you want to take a nice drink of your wine?
I sure do.
I thought you were going
to say, do you want to get started? And I was just going to say no.
No. No. Have wine first. It's very important.
So important. All right. So, again, this is True North. And this is just a lot. It's a lot. It's another one of those episodes where it feels like a lot happens, and then you look back on it and you're like, what happened?
Retrospectively, you're like, but wait.
Huh? Where's the episode? So
but nothing happened. I don't understand.
Exactly. We open on Henry. He is reading a comic book. We have Marvel now. In a drugstore in a pharmacy, which apparently is called Dark Star Pharmacy.
What a name.
I don't know what that means.
I don't have time to figure it out.
This girl comes up and I think Henry is having his first little crush because he's all interested, and then gets really upset when she's talking, and then turns out to be her brother, but there's a moment where he's like, oh, which that was some nice little acting on Jared Gilmore's part, because he was interested and then sad and then oh, okay. But anyway, this girl Ava introduces herself, and she's with her brother Nicholas. They ask him to hang out. So they're gonna leave, and then Mr. Clark, who is sleepy.
Is he sleepy or sneezy?
Sneezy. He's sneezy. Excuse me.
Sneezy.
Yes. Thank you. He throws himself in front of the door and is like, Henry, you're stealing things. And Henry's
what a wild accusation.
I have taken nothing, sir. But
I can feel my TV. It's still warm.
Right. Mr. Clark is a jerk and it's like, hey, mayor's kid, open your bag, and like opens his bag and all of these stolen items are in there. So he's all, I'm very disappointed in you, Henry. But he also doesn't recognize these other two kids really, which is weird. Huh. And then,
for a
obviously,
town that has, 17 people in it?
Right.
You'd think he would know.
Right? And then, like, Henry, of course, is sad because he's like, you were just talking to me to get me to, like, so your brother could put stuff in my backpack. Which is not wrong.
He rolled a natural 1 on his perception.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Have you ever felt someone, like, tug on your backpack?
Yeah, you can
I sure
feel
have.
that. Either that or...
Maybe if you're, like, in a crowded area, I can understand, like, you're bustling through. He is standing alone there.
Yeah, so either that or Nicholas rolled a nat 20.
Listen.
On his stealth.
Both happen.
Anyway, we leave that and we pop on over to the enchanted forest where a woodcutter is cutting wood. And
I wish you had said something else. A woodcutter is cutting flowers. Like, I don't know.
Bones. I like how you go.
Oh, God.
Well, that's where our heads are at.
So anyway, he's cutting not bones. Go on.
He's cutting tree bones. And... So his daughter Gretel's like, hey, shouldn't I have an axe? You wanted me to help. Which, good for her. Good for her to be like, hey, give me an axe. I'm a child. Give me an axe. But the woodcutter says, no, just you take your brother and you go look for kindling. So he gives them this compass to keep them from getting lost.
I'm sorry, you forgot to point out that he chopped down the tree and announced a fine specimen.
Oh, I forgot about a fine specimen. That is very important. What a weird thing to say.
We zoom in on this man, and that's all we hear is him announcing a fine specimen. Maybe it was bones he was cutting. We don't know.
We don't know with that sort of language. So they actually, surprisingly, do not get lost. Given that they are Hansel and Gretel. But...
Well, no, they have a compass.
They have their compass, so they come back. And their father is gone. And then they hear this man yell or groan or I don't know.
Makes
it's a
noise. Sound.
Some sort of man noise. And they go running towards the man noise.
We've got to stop saying man noise like 4 times ago. But now I can't.
Nope. That's in the lexicon now. So, of course, they head directly for the man noise and immediately stumble into the Evil Queen's guards.
Stop running in the street. That road is very dangerous.
Particular road, people need to stay off of. Everybody gets caught on it. Everybody gets in trouble.
The Queen is always there when you walk onto it.
Right. It's weird and you need to stop.
Stay away from that road in particular.
Right, just stay off that road.
Or maybe any roads to be super safe. Just, don't go near roads. You heard it here, folks.
Perfect. How to survive in the enchanted forest. Stay off roads.
Yeah.
Then we flash back to Storybrooke. We're doing a lot of flashing back and forth, scene for scene. Mr. Clark tells Regina about Henry stealing, and Regina goes all, well, not my son. He would never.
He doesn't eat sweets or have happiness or have a fun time.
Yeah, he's never even looked at a candy bar.
He doesn't know what candy is. This is foreign to him.
She goes all Tiger Mom and leaves with Henry. Then runs into Emma, who's there, and Regina gets all snippy with her. And Emma's like, I'm here as sheriff. Not Henry's mom. I'm just here to question the children without the adults present. Don't worry about it.
We're not going to.
No, and we won't.
Don't worry.
So, turns out the phone number that Ava gave doesn't work. And she says it's because their parents haven't been able to pay the phone bill. But also, please don't, arrest them because it'll just make their parents' life harder.
I feel like it's important to include that while we were watching this, I made a comment like, oh, just say the phone is dead. And Lo was like, no, these are landlines. Think about 2011. What phone number would you have given someone?
Yeah, it would be your landline. Especially if you were in
And
trouble.
that upset. Oh yeah, no, you're getting my parents' home number. They still use theirs, BT dubs.
Mm-hmm.
But that realization of, oh God, in 10 years we've just completely ditched the landline. It's gone. It's dead.
There's no such thing anymore.
No. What is a landline?
I don't know. I've never even seen a phone before. But we flash on over to the Enchanted Forest, where the evil queen is interrogating Hansel and Gretel and being like, what are you doing on my road?
What are you doing in my swamp?
Going a little bit Shrek on them. And they explain that they are looking for their father. The evil queen orders the guards to, seize them. Sure. But Gretel takes Hansel's, slingshot type situation.
He does have one.
I don't know what it's called, but it's one of those things where you, put the projectile in the end and you, lasso it, and then
I think it's a sling.
I know
sling,
there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know this from David and Goliath. He used a sling and 5 smooth stones. I went to Sunday school.
There you go. You can tell. You spent 4 years in Catholic school, and I was like, what is that thing called? But
who's to say?
We don't know. So they run, and then, of course, Regina appears at the top of the hill in a puff of smoke, and she's like, it's foolish to run from me, children. Mwahaha. Shoots out some vines, because she's got vines now. And
they're really bad CGI vines. She should work on the quality of her vines.
Yeah, she really should try to put some more money into that. And sends them, just careening to the ground. But she says, you know what, it's foolish, but it's also brave. And I'm going to help you because you're going to help me. An ominous thing to say to children.
Uh-huh. Children, if you hear that, there should be no children here. Please, God, say there's no children here. But children, if you hear that, you run.
Yeah, that's not a good sentence to say to children. Back in Storybrooke, Emma drops Ava and Nicholas off at a house and just lets them, get out of the car, which we know, but also, again, as an adult, you think you would at least walk them to the door. Okay. Nope. She's, Ava swears that everything else is okay at home. It's just the line. But when Emma turns the corner in her car, they immediately run next door to an abandoned building. They're getting out all their goodies that Emma bought them earlier. And Ava hears a noise, so they go to check it out. It's Emma. She clocked the lie.
Hate that. I hate that we have to count that at the end of this episode.
It is a success. She got that lie.
Fuck her.
She's figured out they're lying, so they all go to Mary Margaret's for some food. Why
Sleep over at Mary Margaret's at the teacher's house. Let's go!
Emma and Mary Margaret talk about, number one, do you know these kids? And she's like, I've seen them before.
Again, there are 17 people in this town. You're the only teacher we've ever seen.
Why does no one know these children? Why does no one know who these children are? I don't understand. But then they're talking about how Emma doesn't want to put them in the foster system because the foster system is an evil organization and terrible and awful. And she won't have a way to help them. And then immediately, because they didn't even bother to, go up the stairs to have this conversation, and they're just having this conversation in full view of the table.
Yep.
With nothing between them and the children.
No.
Ava obviously overhears and is like, please don't send us away. Please don't separate us.
Oh, no.
So Emma is going to do her best not to separate them. She makes a lot of promises in this episode that she really barely manages to keep.
Yeah.
So she goes and she is going to go try and find their birth certificates to try and figure out who their father is, because their mom has died Her name was Dory, by the way. And then there was no father. There's no father that they know. So she's going to go look for the birth certificate and see if she can figure it out. But at the records office, it's revealed by Mr. K. I don't know.
They make a big deal of his name.
I didn't get it.
For a character we will never hear from nor see again.
Yeah, like, it was really confusing.
If I cared enough, I'd look it up and see if it was like an Easter egg to something. But
right?
If this show has the audacity to have me do work, I'm not gonna do it.
I thought you were gonna say if this show has the audacity to have Easter eggs.
You know what? That too. If they have the audacity and make me look it up to find it, I don't wanna.
That's fair. That's fair. So, anyway, the mysterious Mr. K, who is very important, but we will never see again, reveals that those files are no longer here. They've been checked out by Regina. So, flash over to Regina's office, where, when confronted, Regina reveals, yep, she's already contacted social services. There's no record of the father. They need help. And also, whoops, they're being sent to separate homes in Boston. Say
something bananas like the father doesn't exist or something like completely
she says, yes, I believe it is the father doesn't exist.
Does Regina know where babies come?
Unclear.
That's, you know what?
Unclear.
Touché.
So then we flash it back to the Enchanted Forest where the evil queen leads Hansel and Gretel to the witch's cottage, the blind witch's cottage. There is a spell on the house, she explains. That means that adults can't go into the house.
Again, children, if you hear that, you leave.
Run. So fast.
Run so fast.
And for whatever reason, adults can't go inside, grown people can't go inside, so she needs the kids to go in and steal back something of hers that was taken. It's kept in a satchel.
The artifact.
The artifact is kept in a satchel. So she tells the kids that the house is very unique and no matter how tempted, they must not eat anything. Then, of course, we swoosh back. Yes, keep that in mind. One rule. Don't eat anything. We swoosh back, and of course, it is the famous cottage made of, like, gingerbread and candy. So, Hansel and Gretel.
Why not?
Then we flash back over to Storybrooke to hide that very little has occurred. So,
jeez.
Emma's at the sheriff's station just, doing her job when Henry casually strolls in with a book and is like, I figured out who they are. I figured out who the children are. They're Hansel and Gretel.
Don't talk to me about that godforsaken book and the illustrations. I don't want to fucking hear it.
The illustrations are particularly egregious in this one. There is no way they're smears. Their faces are smears. But Emma asks, does the book have anything to say about the dad? I don't think she's taking it seriously, but also weird. And then Henry's like, it says he abandoned him. Henry asks about his dad now.
Oh, sure. We finally arrived.
And Emma says, after a moment, that they met when she was a server at a 24-hour diner.
Of course.
And he'd come in and complain every night because they didn't have pumpkin pie.
Good.
She also says that, then he died saving a family in a fire. So,
That's cute.
Cool. And Henry asks if, he has, she has anything of his that he could, have or look at. And Emma says no. But that sure does give her an idea. So she, immediately drops that conversation like a hot potato and runs. Because she may have an idea on how to find Ava and Nicholas's dad.
Great. Love that for her.
Runs back to Mary Margaret's apartment and shows the kids her baby blanket. The only thing she's ever had from her parents, and gives a little speech about how kids like them always have something.
Wow, she's really just grouping them all together, saying, I understand you. We're the same.
We're the same.
See, you small child, you have plaid, and when I was a kid, I wore plaid. Exactly. We're kindred spirits.
I feel you. So she asks if they have anything of their dad's, and Ava brings out the compass, which we know to be the compass that was handed to them when they were Hansel and Gretel.
Sure.
In the Enchanted Forest. In the Enchanted Forest,
speaking
of, Hansel and Gretel climb in the window of the cottage and, do their Hansel and Gretel thing. They're, like, walking around, sneaking around. They
so sneaky.
Try to grab the bag, and Gretel's about to grab the bag when Hansel, no thoughts, head empty.
Jesus Christ.
Just full, no brain at all in his little precious head. Immediately takes a giant bite out of a cupcake. There was one rule.
Okay. It is not even like he thinks, like, I shouldn't do it. He's like, oh, fuck yeah.
Right, and it's not even like he grabs it and it's like, haha, as we're out the door.
No, he's like, sleeping witch, cupcake. I want...
Evil Queen said not to eat anything. I'm going to eat
cupcake.
The cupcake.
He's like doing the thing where it's like, well, she said no food. Is a cupcake really food? That's like dessert. It's its own thing.
Exactly. That's giving him too many thoughts.
He has no thoughts. One thought, cupcake.
One thought. And it is cupcake. So Hansel thinks cupcake, eats cupcake, and immediately the witch awakens. And
I hate this witch.
The house just goes on lockdown. Straight lockdown. Everything is locked. They can't get out. Oh no. It's a cliffhanger because we head over to Storybrooke again.
Oh, lordy.
Emma goes and visits Mr. Gold to ask about the compass. And Gold says somebody bought it from the store, but also he does not remember who. Says, I'm good with names, but not that good with names, or something like that. And don't worry, he also has this handy-dandy little Rolodex of all his purchases. So he
never forgets.
Looks in, and he pulls out the card immediately. Like, I saw him on Tuesday. It's a Law and Order bartender. Thank you, John Mulaney, for the joke. But he, says, oh, it was Michael Tillman. And then Emma goes and takes off to go hunt down Michael Tillman. And we, as the viewer, can see that he actually didn't even pull out a card with writing on it. It's just a fully blank card.
Why does he have blank cards? Like, I understand some, but assuming his memory is perfect, he would not need any cards really at all. So the fact that he just had a blank one and grabbed a blank one specifically to be the cheeky bastard that he is.
Right? Like, she wasn't even looking at it. Also, he wasn't looking at the card, so she probably should have clocked that he was not reading off the card, but okay.
He's staring at her deadpan, holding a piece of paper going, ah, yes, Michael Tillman.
Yeah. I felt it with my palm. It's just very weird. So, anyway, that's weird. I don't know. I don't really get the point of that scene.
He knows everything. You see, lest we forget.
He knows everything, and he's trying to,
He's still playing, puppet master to all of this.
I guess. Yeah. I guess. And also, we have to pay Robert Carlyle for being here, I suppose.
That is true.
So,
that's fair.
Michael Tillman works at a garage. Emma goes to find him. She shows him Ava and Nicholas's files, but he's like, no, I don't have kids. It was one time. There's no way I have twins.
There's no way. It was one time, I tell you, in a tent. In a tent.
They were camping.
That sounds like the worst one-night stand ever.
I mean, to be fair, he did not clarify that they were in a tent. They could have not been in a tent.
That's fair, but still, camping sounds like the worst one-night stand.
See, that sounds even worse. That sounds even worse to not be in the tent, because then that sounds like there's risk of poison ivy.
I just
places
no.
you don't want. Yeah. So anyway, he's like, I don't have kids. And Emma's like, you do have kids. And he's like, I don't have kids. And Emma's like, you do have kids.
That's finally the entire conversation.
That is. And then she pulls out the compass and he's like, yeah, apparently I have kids. But also, I don't know how to be a dad. And also, peace out, I don't want to be a dad. Look elsewhere.
Which is fair.
Look elsewhere. I'm not going to do it. So, Emma immediately calls Mom. She doesn't know she's calling Mom, but she calls Mary Margaret. And is like, Mom, come outside.
Mom, I'm straight up not having a good time right now.
Yeah. And so Mary Margaret comes out and is like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't want to tell the kids that their dad exists, but also does not want them. Like, period.
The kids don't care. They're eating sugar straight out of the bowl in Mary Margaret's house.
That's true. Just nutrition at its finest. So, Emma doesn't want to let them know because she doesn't want them to know that she gave them false hope.
She does this a lot. She learns nothing from this experience.
I guess what she wants to do is give them more false hope to hide the fact that she gave them false hope in the first place.
That sounds like Emma.
Okay. Also, turns out she was lying to Henry.
Lying
straight
to
up.
A child.
Henry's dad was not a hero. That was not the story. Whoops.
Aw, rats.
Then Regina, I don't know, shows up and is like, I'm just here to check and make sure you're taking the kids to Boston because the kids have to go to Boston. Is Boston the nearest city? I guess.
Everything in this show is Boston.
Everything is Boston. I feel like is Boston the nearest big city to Maine? Is that what this is? I feel like Maine has to have a foster system.
No.
It's not in Boston.
Everything is Boston in this show.
Everything
My favorite is she says, I wanted to make sure you were on the way. And Emma's like, I guess. She goes, well, you should be halfway there now. Clearly she knew. No, she can tell she's not on her way. Oh, I wanted to see if you've left. You haven't.
Correct. After that, we hop back over to the Enchanted Forest where the witch locks the kids in a cage. I don't like her.
She found a way to make a scene that could be just really creepy into a very sexually charged scene, and I hate that for us as viewers.
I hate the number of times she goes, butter or gravy?
I hate the number of times that she bites her lower lip and goes,
Nope. Never do that again. Never.
I will not, but she will at least 17 more times.
I don't like it. So she's going to eat Hansel. She's trying to eat Hansel, but then, of course, Gretel tricks her. Like, she ends up taking Gretel instead. Gretel steals the key to the cage out of her pocket and gets it to Hansel real fast, who immediately gets out and then, grabs a stick to, poke the witch or something.
We don't know. Directions unclear.
But immediately trips. Just immediately trips.
Head empty, no thoughts.
Head empty, no thoughts. And then the witch turns around and starts yelling butter or gravy some more. It's really upsetting.
I hate it.
It's really upsetting. But, so, he gets out. They get out of it. They end up pushing the witch into the oven, very Hansel and Gretel style, shockingly. Teamwork makes the murder work.
Oh, love that.
And then they grab her bag that they're supposed to be grabbing and get outside while she just yells some more about let me out. Turns out that bag has the poison apple in it because we flash over to to the Evil Queen's castle lair.
Her tower.
Where she is. She has a tower.
Oh, she
She's watching the witch. Regina can shoot fire through mirrors, I guess? I don't know.
I hate it.
That seems like it might have been useful at some times. But she can shoot fire through mirrors because she sets the witch ablaze.
And then she says, I would have chosen gravy.
Very weird. Just a weird scene. Just weird. Who wrote this? When the kids bring her the bag, the apple's in the bag. It's the iconic poison apple.
Artifacts.
artifacts. Regina is very pleased, and with a weird little bow that she does this sometimes.
Tits
she, like,
out.
Hunches, tits out. It's like, live with me.
And now that I'm done threatening you, come live with me, children.
Live with me, children. Live with me in the safe haven of my bosom.
Yes, gladly. Gladly.
Weirdly, they turn her down.
Well, they're wrong.
I know, they're incorrect for it, but they do turn her down. And Gretel is like, hey, you just got done threatening me and my family. We will never live with somebody as evil as you. Like, you're terrible. You're a terrible person and we'll never live with somebody as terrible as you.
You're bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah. And in, I think, a remarkable show of self-restraint,
Mm-hmm.
there is no child murder.
I'm proud of our Reggie baby.
I feel like everything we have seen thus far says she should be, like, murdering those children, but she doesn't. She just poofs them away to somewhere else.
That's nice.
That's nice of her.
I think so.
This is a Regina apologist podcast.
It is. If you've not figured that out by now, the crisp episode of episode 9.
We are a Regina apologist podcast.
Uh-huh.
Back in Storybrooke, Emma's loading up the kids. Henry's like, no, something's bad's gonna happen if you try to leave Storybrooke. I am unclear about the rules of Storybrooke. Emma, I think, has heard this so many times at this point. She's like, yeah, she's bye.
She's like in like the Peanuts shows. All she hears is wah 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 wah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, because she's just like, whatever, bye. So they're driving, and right before they get to the town line, the engine on the sheriff car stalls out, I guess. Anyway, she has to call for help. Back in the Enchanted Forest, because again, we do not spend any time in any scene.
No.
The evil queen is watching Snow White in the mirror with, for reasons.
Yeah.
With the iconic line. I specifically wrote this down because I loved this line so much. It was so lazy, and I loved it so much. It was, now she's cavorting with dwarves? When did that happen?
I love it. That is the showrunner saying, we will probably not give you an explanation for this because the queen doesn't know, so we don't need to know.
Right. They're like, we don't know how this happened either, but
like,
people are asking.
I think they give us like a lame reason later where it's like, yeah, and then she found the dwarves. So, like, it's never truly like...
Yeah, we don't get like the full, like, here's why they've accepted her and love her story.
No, we just get that Grumpy and her were to sell together, and he was like, fuck it, come with us. And that's about it.
I mean, is that not how Snow White makes all her friends?
Yeah, fuck it, come with us.
Exactly. That we have that moment. It's wonderful. A prisoner is brought up. It's the woodcutter from earlier.
Oh, man, oh, man.
He's here now, and he's immediately like, I demand my release. Which I'm just like, you're not really in a position to be demanding much of anything, but okay.
I like your moxie, kid.
Yeah. Spunk. I hate spunk. She tells him that, you know what? Your kids think you abandoned them, but also you need to ask me and you need to answer a question for me. Why did they turn me down? I was so nice. Why did they turn me down?
I love her so much.
What an insane human being.
And she's like holding this guy at like knife point. Why don't they like me?
Right?
I don't understand.
I'm a good person.
It's that scene from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
Exactly. Say it. Say I'm a good person. Say it or I'll gut him. I'll gut him like a fish. She's like, why don't they love me? Why didn't they want to stay and live in my palace with my very generous offer? And he's like, because family always finds each other.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck all the way off.
And again, I think showing some remarkable self-restraint because we have seen her murder people just to murder people.
It's true. She does this. Her kill count is very high.
Yeah, it is. But, she's like, you know what? You can live as a family again. Once you find each other.
Yeah, bitch.
And then, poofs him out into the woods, I guess, or somewhere. We're not really sure. It's unclear.
Irrelevant.
Direction's unclear. Back in Storybrooke, we're finally back there. This is where we're going to spend the rest of our episode.
Thank God.
Obviously, it's the kid's dad who comes to help with the tow of the car.
The tow of the car.
Sure. Emma says, I wanted you to see the kids before I take them to Boston. But if you accept them, they don't have to go to Boston. And the kids are just like staring out the back of the window looking all pathetic and sad and,
pitiful.
Like puppy dog eyes. And finally he's like, you don't need to take them. Fine. They're mine.
Mine
I
now.
guess I've been bullied enough. Emma goes to talk to Mary Margaret about, the whole thing, decompress a little bit, and thinks about like, well, what would it be like to find my own parents? And Mary Margaret says, well, maybe one day you will. And Emma's like,
LOL.
Henry thinks it's you. LOL. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, she's like, haha, Henry thinks you're my mom. A very normal thing to say to your friend and roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they have this little conversation. It gets kind of awkward. Emma leaves, and Mary Margaret notices Emma's baby blanket sticking out of the box. Like, picks it up, doesn't really recognize it, but, like, remarks upon it, and then puts it back. In her car, Emma's looking at files. It's her files. It's the files from what...
Depressing for her.
Childhood, and whatever. Henry comes out to the car, because she's just sitting in the car doing this. I don't know.
Why not?
You have a sheriff's office.
No.
You could
must car.
Must car. Henry brings her pumpkin pie because remember,
his dad loved pumpkin pie
and was very upset that there wasn't. She's about to tell him. She's really, really close because Mary Margaret did encourage her to tell the truth, but she's like really close to saying like, "Hey, I lied. It was a lie." But then she just decides not to.
Yeah, not today.
And they have a cute little hug, and then suddenly we hear a motorcycle. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And this guy pulls up on his motorcycle and asks if there's a place, if it's Storybrooke. They say, yeah. Is there a place I can stay for the night? Granny's bed and breakfast. So Emma's like, hey, I didn't catch your name. He's like, I didn't give it.
He should have said, I didn't drop it. He should have said, I didn't drop it.
I so smart. So smart. I love that line. You write them retroactively and make them ADR. Because that's so good. But anyway, he's like, I can give you my name, and drives off. Emma looks at Henry and is like, what the hell? I thought you said nobody ever comes to Storybrooke. There's never strangers in Storybrooke. And Henry says, there's not.
Dun, dun, dun.
But there sure ass is. We have a stranger in Storybrooke. Who could the mysterious man be? Who is this man?
Tune in next week to find out. It's August.
It's August. We know it to be August. But, that's where we end with the mysterious man going to Granny's bed and breakfast.
Wow.
And we don't know who he is. We do, but...
We do, but in the show, you do not at this point. I remember speculating so much and having just a grand old time trying to figure this out for episodes to come.
Right. I am surprised as we rewatch, how many characters are given away in the same episode, because I remember it being a lot more speculation.
Right?
Like, I remember there being a lot more speculation, but I guess maybe it was just in the same episode?
I guess.
I don't know.
I absolutely remember it being like one episode at a time, like slowly revealing people.
Right. Like, I remember, and that, I mean, maybe part of that is just we have the knowledge, so it doesn't feel like a reveal.
That's true.
But also, I'm like trying to think of who, like Rumpelstiltskin wasn't really revealed for a while.
Yeah.
That did take a little bit of time, especially if you're not clocking his heavy makeup.
Yeah.
Obviously, August, we're going to tease that out a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Neil, I think, was the biggest.
Neil's going to be a huge...
Like, that one, I think, took the longest time of, like, oh my god, who is he? Who's getting this Like, and...
Right.
And then...
I just remember so much more of the, like, first season being guessing who the characters were. But I guess maybe
we made that a game for
say.
ourselves.
Well, I was going to say, I remember, like, looking at that the failed evil curse she tries to cast with her horse's heart.
Yeah, like, who the fuck is in this prayer circle with her?
Right! Like, I remember that. There is a gnome. Remember that.
Mama Poppins would be delighted. Oh, that's not nice gnome.
It's not a nice gnome. I don't think she'd like the gnome.
No.
That gnome was a no-gnome. It's a gnome. But, yeah. So, okay. Let's talk about what did we learn that was important to the plot.
Like two things.
Two things. August is here now. We don't know it's August, but we do have the stranger.
A stranger has arrived. Oh god, what was the other things? We decided there were two things. We learned a little bit about Henry's father. Like, minuscule.
And I think it's the setup for him being upset with her later because she lies.
Yes. It's how's your pizza? Oh, it's great. It's cheesy, delicious, and it doesn't lie. I would like that.
Iconic line.
Like, framed on my wall. It's my favorite line in this whole godforsaken.
I want someone to cross-stitch that for me.
Yes, I will. I will do that for you.
Oh, I would love that.
I'll work on it. I have your Christmas gift idea now.
Oh, perfect.
Fucking God.
I'll hang it up on my wall.
Good.
Cheesy and delicious and doesn't lie.
Yeah. So in 42 minutes of content, there's like 2 minutes that matter.
Right? Because we're not really gonna... We may see Hansel and Gretel again but not really.
Plot affecting way.
No. And then...
Like, I feel like we see her again when, like, Jefferson's trying to find his daughter, and he's, like, I feel like in that episode around then.
Yeah, like, we might... Because I think we spend a little more time at Storybrooke Prep or whatever the flippity-flap their school is called. Is it a private school or is it a public school? Because if it's a private school, how are those kids attending? They don't have parents. Also, if it's a public school, how are those kids attending? They don't have parents.
I think you just segued into the first thing that we both have a lot of questions about, which is how do the constraints of this town work in general?
I don't understand what's going on.
Like, two things here. First thing, we've talked about this before. Is the curse, like, in a cyclical cycle where, like, the same days are being repeated or the same, like, circumstances? Because I do not understand how people don't know these children or haven't clocked into the fact that they don't have parents or any, like, and I recognize their curse and that's their curse persona, but you'd think people would be like, yeah, I don't know, like, we know they're homeless or something.
Right. Or we have suspicions about
or like they
things or
or they just don't attend the school. There's a really easy thing here. They could have just had them not attend school.
Right. And all they had to do was not put them in the uniform.
Right?
That's all they had to do.
And just have kids talk about comics and go, wow, you're reading The Incredible Hulk. I know this because Henry announced it in a very weird way. Talk to me about this.
It's weird. It was weird.
It was weird. Like, so first of all, like, how does this curse work on several levels?
Yeah, so at some points we do seem to be hinting at it's a cycle. The clock wasn't moving. Mm-hmm. Now it's moving, that the Savior's in town, which I do accept the idea that, it wasn't moving, and now that Emma's here,
it's a catalyst, things are happening.
Time is moving forward. But that is also confusing to me because there do seem to be things that are in motion.
Right?
from before she arrived. And then I'm confused because the rule that is stated over and over and over again is you cannot leave Storybrooke. Bad things happen to people who leave Storybrooke.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Not sure if Emma is like doing this on purpose like in this episode. But then I'm confused because Henry left Storybrooke.
That he did.
The very catalyst of the show is Henry leaving Storybrooke.
Well, and it's interesting because Regina has created this curse. She should be the all-knowing being of it. Why does she keep telling people to leave? She's like, send the children away. They're going to Boston.
Maybe she's just really hoping the town line is really going to do something to Emma.
She wants something to happen really bad. She wants to see what will happen.
Yeah, she's like, let's find this out. And then, on top of that, August comes into town, which, fine, I understand that he's got more knowledge than the average person, but he's also not the only person who does. So...
True. Maybe, okay, but taking our knowledge we have in the show, every person that shows up has been there before somehow. So maybe it's like the island in Pirates of the Caribbean. It can only be found by those that have been there before.
I mean, maybe.
But August has never technically been there, so I don't fucking know. I'm out.
So, just the rules of Storybook are vague and weird. And I don't like that they're this vague and weird already.
Yeah, like, I'd understand if this was some season 7 bullshit.
Yeah, but we are still just starting this, and we have already, like, not quite made it clear how our rules work for this world.
No, we don't know.
No.
It's just interesting. Like you said, they make it such, like, a framework, which I appreciate. I appreciate frameworks and guidelines if I'm watching something.
Right.
But they abandon it. So just don't make, like, change the verbiage. Like, oh, people have never been here before. We've never had visitors before. Don't make it like they can't show up. Make it we've never had them before. Like, we're in, like, and have Henry even theorize. I feel like we don't exist on a map. You can only find out about it by someone else that's been here. Like, have him theorize, even.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whole thing. I don't get it. I think they're just not careful with the words, and you can tell. Because, you know, the superpower is another thing of not, but they're not careful with the words because there is an easy way around that. And that is just to say, I'm really good at telling when people are lying.
Just stop.
I have an infallible superpower. I'm really good at it. And I can do it most of the time.
Yep.
Then she can clock whatever you want. But she can also be fooled.
I just don't know.
I don't know. It's just a whole thing. So, yeah, that is...
I don't know. This is a hard one to get angry about because I feel like the things I'm frustrated about don't matter. Like,
well, no, of course not. Do any of the things we get frustrated about matter?
And the things that make me really upset are just recurring themes. Like, Emma, I have it worse than you, Swan, making an appearance almost every episode.
Truly. What a one-upper.
Like, she looks at this man, I can't even be bothered to look up his name, and she goes, I didn't have a choice, but you do. She said the same shit to Ashley Boyd, by the way. This is just a cute thing she likes to tell people that are having a hard time.
That's so true.
And I don't understand it because she makes it seem like you are their parent. You are their father. You need to take care of them. This man has repeatedly said, do not want. And I recognize there's a level of responsibility. But also, she sends these children home with a man that might just live in a one-room flat and probably has these children sleeping on a cardboard box.
Right, like, it is certainly one thing if it were, you need to get ready. You need to get ready because you have kids and you need to pull your life together because they need you.
She doesn't even do a house inspection to make sure it's a suitable location. She's just like, yep, take them. They are yours.
Does
now.
he have a home? He could live at the garage for all she knows and cares. Yeah, it's just, that is bonkers to me, because I'm also like, okay, you did come up through the foster system.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want to tread carefully here, because there are some foster families who are amazing, and reunification is like their goal, and they want to keep families together. Absolutely. And they're just stepping in and doing amazing work. So on their behalf, I don't appreciate the message that
foster care is
all foster care is terrible. But on the other hand, I do understand that for many, the majority of people, foster care is not a positive experience.
Oh, absolutely. But Emma really,
I don't want to say the majority, because I can't speak to it.
But Emma does love her absolute sentences.
Right. And then I'm like, okay, you know what it's like to be in a home that is uncomfortable, that is unfit, that you are nothing more than a paycheck.
Meal ticket. She says it. Right. Like she has a whole thing.
So how are you comfortable sending kids with a parent who has never expressed interest in being a parent?
No.
Barely has expressed interest in being a parent at all right now. And is in no way prepared to house children, because he just found out about them today.
Yeah.
He's known about them for less than 12 hours.
That seems like insufficient time to plan and prepare and make sure you have, food, bed, towels. Like,
one would
not
think.
to shit on single men, because I know they're not all this way, but there's the stigma. They have mattresses on the floor they don't even have a top sheet. They're just out here vibing.
You don't know. He could live in a studio apartment and sleep on a pull-out couch, and there is no room for them. He says he's not super well off, and that he can hardly keep his own life together. He says that.
Suitable parent. I also love, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but that Emma's just over here like, oh yeah, those kids that were in your class, Henry? Yeah, they don't have parents. Their dad doesn't want them. Just like gossiping.
Blah, blah, blah. Hey, those kids who go to your school?
Here's their trauma.
How did they acquire uniforms? I have so many questions.
I don't know anything.
I know. I know the explanation is the curse has provided it all to them. I get that. But I understand.
In the subtext of this is supposed to be a reality they're living in, how? And you didn't mention it. I think you need to, because this is so unrelated, but it's about the curse and the things that are populated. We have a new hobby. It's called Look at the Background Shit.
That's right. Oh my God.
And you are
across from the garage, which I believe is called, it had a name. There was a name on the car.
Jerome. It was Jeffries or whatever his name was.
No, it wasn't the same name as his, because his last name was Tillerman, and it was a last name, but it wasn't Tillerman.
Oh, spicy.
So it's not even his garage. He just works as a mechanic at this garage.
God.
Unless he's just named his garage after somebody. I don't know. Anyway, there was a name on the truck. I clocked it, but I forgot to write it down. And then across from the garage...
Oh, boy, howdy.
...is Neighbors. The restaurant Neighbors.
What kind of food do you think they sell? I hope it's like really shitty. Nope, we already have a diner.
It's bar food. It's bar food.
Okay, great.
It had the diner. It's their sports bar. It had like the baseball font and everything.
It did. No, that's fair. It did. I hope
it's like the neighborhood bar and grill.
Cheers.
Where everybody knows your name.
Exactly. Except for Storybrooke. They don't fucking know anyone in that town.
No. Cheers could not exist in the town of Storybrooke because nobody knows your fucking name.
No.
I really appreciated in this episode, like, it was an insane way of showing it, but I did appreciate that they were laying down this idea that Regina likes kids. She wants to be
Yeah.
around kids. She doesn't get it.
Not
She
the
doesn't know
first
how
time
to.
she's gonna try to kidnap a child, and I love that.
And not the last either. Like
she does this so many times. Every time there's a kid that's like maybe like nice to her for a second, she's like, "I kidnap you now?
yeah, you're
You're
mine
mine now?
This
Is
how it
this
works,
motherhood?
right?
Am I
Is
a
it
mom?
me? Am I the mom? I think I'm the mama.
No, but I do think not just that groundwork. This is what I was gonna say that I forgot earlier. This episode does lay some interesting groundwork. I think. Like, I know we were kind of shitting on it for being like, oh my god, once again we're talking about the rules of who can and can't leave, but setting up for August showing up.
Yeah.
And like the fact that right before August does show up, she's looking through her file, and the article that is, it's not the focus of it, but if you look at the articles, the main thing you can see is 7-year-old boy finds baby on side of the road. And with the foresight of the whole show, we know that that's August coming through the wardrobe with baby Emma.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, there are little things that are sprinkled throughout that you're like, that's actually really,
Yeah,
really good.
and
Like,
then,
I know we were giving a little bit of grief to we were talking earlier, I don't think we actually recorded it, but a little bit of grief about we've just had we've already had the conversation that nobody comes to Storybook.
yeah, like that was all of episode 4. That was Ashley, the Cinderella episode of she can't leave, can't leave, can't leave. She tries to leave anyway.
And no one can come. We don't have it. But I do appreciate that we know that we're building towards
something changing that rule.
This rule is about to break, so we do need to reiterate it. I just wish it were written better. Yeah. But, hey.
Is that not my rehashing of the entire scene from episode 4?
Yeah. I mean, but is that not just my entire attitude towards the show?
This
was interesting. I just wish it were written better.
Well, another thing that I did think was interesting, and I appreciate, is Rumpelstiltskin or Mr. Gold saying, well, I am good with names, because that's all. Yeah. That's part of his original story lore. That's fun. It's a neat, nifty detail.
Every once in a while, you can tell that there's someone on the writing staff who's like, I've got a good idea.
Yep.
So, yeah. Interesting. Now, I have a question for you.
Oh, no.
And it's, do we clock the card as a lie?
I keep going back and forth, and I almost feel like I need to go and like rewatch his exact words, because if he says,
right,
I don't remember, then yes, no, I'll cut this out. I'm going to go and listen to it. Yeah,
I think we do. I think we do need to listen to it, because I didn't clock the exact wording. I wasn't thinking about it.
Okay, so we've reviewed the tapes.
We've reviewed the tapes.
And I feel very confident in saying, even though like he still gives her the information, so it's not a lie, I think by him saying I'm not that good with, like, I'm good at names but not that good, and having to go and look it up, she, like, by the rules of her superpower, that is a lie. He is lying. He is that good at names.
True. Especially because he doesn't pull out a card with a name on it.
Correct. And that's why I think it is a lie, because he does remember. He's reciting off a memory. When he says, I'm not that good, that is a lie. He absolutely knows the name. He knows everything about this man, I am sure.
Well, and of course he does. And Rumpel is shady as shit. So, I would, okay, all right. I am ready to jump right in there with you, because I actually think there would be less of an argument if he'd had it written on a card.
Absolutely, because then it's like ambiguous of, he maybe knew the name, but he had to look to confirm. No, he had this man's everything memorized.
Yeah, like it would be one thing if like he'd gone to the Rolodex and like just immediately flipped to it and pulled it out, where it's like,
yeah,
okay, like he possibly could have just like magicked it, or just grabbed it and
this is a blank ass piece of paper,
right? And then of course he doesn't even look at it, so that part's weird too.
No, I feel incredibly confident that that is a missed lie. She should have. There should have been
Okay, so
something there. By the rules of the superpower, this show has established where she can tell when someone is lying.
yep, so we have gone up by 2 lies.
No, it's one success and one lie in this episode.
Right, but we've gone up like 2.
But total,
She's
2, yes.
listened to 2 lies.
Yes.
And she remains at a steady even because she's gone up by 1 and lost 1.
Yep, so it's 8 out of 11 for the fails.
8 out of 11. Ooh, a nice juicy fraction right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really fun one to do.
Right? Wait, is that right? Can I do math? Okay, because it started at 7 out of 9.
Yeah, so 2 more. Well, 2 more would be 11.
11. Yep.
And
Man,
then,
this bitch really has only had it work 3 times.
yeah, right now she's at a 73% fail rate.
God. I guess since we're talking about it, we'll just kind of segue into the
Jump
list.
on in.
So there are 2 lies that she listened to in this episode. The first and foremost being little Ava. Ava, is that her name?
Ava, yes.
Ava, sure. Staring at her and saying, like, yeah, everything's fine at home. This is our home. This is surely where we live.
Right.
And at first, it looks like Emma does believe them. Well, first she stares at her and goes, I have a superpower. And then goes, okay, proceed. So at first you're like, oh, she missed this as well. But then as we know, she shows up in the house and is like, why'd you lie to me? So fine,
Right.
We have to give her that one. Don't like it, hate it, fine. I have noticed that anytime she mentions it, she will use it in the next 45 seconds.
Oh, yeah, no, she only mentions it
when
if
it's going to work.
About to come into play and work.
They must remind us of this, thinking that we've forgotten. I do not forget. I sit here all day long wondering when it's going to fail her next.
To be fair, it would be very easy for us to forget because she fails all the time.
That's fair. God. And then, of course, as we just said, she has subsequently failed it when Mr. Gold lied to her face and said, I don't know I have no idea my memories. I'm just an old man. I don't got the appetites. And then...
A Mulaney heavy
Oh,
episode.
God. Apparently. The rest of my list, there's nothing that fucking happens. We've got no curses. We've got no beans.
Got no curses, got no beans. What do we got?
Lies.
Lie.
How about you? I feel like your shrubbery is
Very
looking kind of
little-
sad, too.
It is. It's all... Please never talk about my shrubbery again.
Okay, the shrubbery of the show.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. No, all of the plant-based activity is very, very, very wilty right now.
Oh.
We can officially put a question mark on, like, connected to Emma, because we kind of know a little bit about Henry's dad.
Not a fireman.
Sorta?
We know that much.
Yeah, that's what we're going to write on it. Not a fireman. And just slowly cross it off as we get more specific.
And have we added Mary Margaret? Yeah, I think we had. That was earlier, right?
Yes. So we've put, because the pilot episode shows...
That's right. That was starting. That was right at
the birth. Like, they are our core family. They're essentially our only family right now.
Oh, I realize why this episode's kind of pleasant. There's no David being a piece of shit.
I don't want to go spend more time with him. And I know 7:15 is coming.
Oh, it's the next episode.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, it very well might be. I'm just telling myself it's not to make myself feel better.
Oh,
no.
Feel really bad because it's next. Episode 10 at 7:15 a.m.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
Buckle up. Get prepared.
I gotta invest in some nicer booze for that one.
Fair.
That one's gonna drive me up a wall. Actually, maybe I'll be a little more happier because it will be more consensual.
That's fair.
Maybe. Here's hoping. But yeah, no. It was nice to be without the
that of it all.
the that of it all, the David of it all. Although I did swear we spent more time with it.
Right? Like, I could have sworn that whole
We just
back and
have
forth,
really skewed perceptions of this show.
right? Neverland is season 2.
It's not. It's season 3.
Season 2 exists.
I just thought that season 2 was part of season 1, and I remembered it being like one really good long season. And now I'm like, oh no, season 1 was just season 1.
Yeah.
And then the first half of season 2 is
Cora.
Magnificent.
I love Cora so much. I wish we had had more time with Cora.
Barbara Hershey, why do you need so much?
Right? That's the real question.
Why could you not give us more time?
That's fair.
If we only had time. More time. That was my Hamilton reference for the night.
Oh, I thought you were about to go into like Twilight Zone, because the guy with the glasses, when he could finally read and his glasses broke, and he was like, "But I had time."
Time.
I think about that episode a lot.
That's fair.
Is that all to add to the fuck fern in the tree? Like, is
literally, yeah,
Jesus.
There's like nothing. I mean, I guess technically if we wanted to, we could spread our own little tree with Michael and Dory over there. But like,
I mean, if it makes you happy.
I don't feel like they're ever going to come back up. So,
well, I'm just upset.
Know, it was a time.
A bad time. A really bad time.
God. And then it's just the headache I have thinking about the fact that it's 7:15 next week.
Look, it's okay. We'll get some good alcohol.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm very excited. It's a good episode.
We're leading into a string of actually really solid episodes.
We're headed into the fun stuff. We're definitely headed into...
We're heading into the murder zone, where we're going to accuse Snow of murder.
Murder zone! Murder zone!
We're also heading into Skin Deep, where I'm going to read myself for Phil.
Oh, yeah, no. That's going to be excellent listening for your therapist.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
And then... and don't we have our first fake Ariel?
We do.
So we have fake Ursula coming up.
Oh!
Which is so much fun. And then, surprise midweek Sebastian Stan appears. So, like, we're headed into just a string of, like... I remember this is where, like, I really started, like...
The show came into its own. Like, it took...
I started paying attention and, like, wanting to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching every week because, in theory, I was thinking, I should like this. It is fairy tales. It is Disney.
I want to like
this. These are all of my things I should enjoy. And then we hit this, like, batch of episodes, and this is where it becomes, unsarcastically,
it's a good time. Well, it's still a bad time, but it becomes an entertaining time.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great, but
it's good.
Pretty good. It's a solidly written show for the most part. I think I could eat those words.
You will later. Don't worry. I'll make sure of it.
Oh yeah. But I mean, for a string of episodes, I just feel like we're headed into stuff where I don't recall any more of this necessarily. This back and forth where we're finding out things that don't end up being relevant. Yeah. Because, like, 7:15, we spend a whole lot of time in Storybrooke with a very relevant plot.
Yes. Which is fun. Skin Deep is the introduction of the potato. The potato. You'll learn. I have a lot of very mixed feelings about Belle. I will save that for episode 12, but
looking
just know,
forward to it.
Just know, if Belle is your favorite character, you need therapy.
At least if you've shipped her with Rumpelstiltskin.
Need another drink now.
Okay. Well, you can have one if you would like.
I would like.
I don't need to give you permission.
I'm an adult. I am 30. I can do it.
Heh, you're 30.
I'm elderly.
You're my grown friend.
You have time.
I do have time. Thank you.
Well, this has been a truly heinous, awful bad time.
Truly terrible. But the good news is,
But
can only go up from here.
yes. Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We will see you next week.
We will. Bye.
Bye.